Perfect. So, you guys should be able to see me in there. Red, orange, and yellow guy. For bridal parties, that usually means I'm the hottest thing in there. So, everything around me is blue and black. Those are the colors that we're actually looking for to move on their own. We want the blue and black spots, which are the coldest areas in the camera at that given time, to move on their own. We're always going to have something blue or black. We're going to try to keep somebody's skin temperature in view because we're going to be the warmest things out here. Like, that's basic. I mean, just think about science. I mean, our skin temperature is going to be 97 to 99 degrees. Hopefully it's not over that. But at the same token, there's a blue dot that moves around your screen. It will be on your recording tomorrow. It bounces to the coldest spot in the frame at that particular moment. So that way I can kind of see where the differences are and kind of play around with it. So with that, Brian, I think I'm going to go with you on this guy. It's already recording. You're going to hold it horizontal. Keep the camera on your left. It's already on your left. No, the camera's on the left-hand side. Meaning don't flip it the opposite way. Got it. So what's going to happen is we're going to do start and stops because as great as the hardware is, the software is horrible. If we record for too long, it will lose all video. We don't want to lose any video. So we're going to do start and stops. I'll give you the cues so you can just kind of wait for them. In the event you don't see anything tonight, it's perfectly fine. I'm going to review tomorrow, as is everybody else. So again, you could just be a cameraman if you like, or you can really study how thermodynamics work. Your call.
Are you giving us what you think because of how you're like writing our characters?
I'm a writer, and I told them they're all characters in my mind, so that way it's kind of telling me who gets what.
I should hope so.
She's hot. She's hot.
There's something behind her, though.
Oh, it's very, very cold behind her.
Right behind her.
Did I give that to the wrong person?
Yes. Already playing.
So I normally, and that records audio as well, so I will normally give that to the jokester of the group. So that way we all have his commentary by the end of the night. So
that's
right.
perfect.
There you go.
What is this? Does it...
I love the enthusiasm coming out of you. I love it.
Well, in my mind, I'm like...
So you guys should not be able to see me in the camera. So it should be pretty dark in there. We're going to turn on some lights. We're working with full spectrum lighting on this guy. So it's light that we can't see with our own eyes. So the hope is that we will be able to see something that we normally would not see with our own eyes. Josh, this one's going to go to you.
You got it.
So, again, start and stops on that one. I did put a brand new SD card in there.
Okay.
It was giving us a little bit of trouble last night, so it was freezing up. I'll be curious to see if the new larger SD card makes it do that. Okay. But again, I'll do start and stops with you as well.
Gotcha.
And only so I get these particular devices in the right hands, I think we're going to use these tonight as well. So, this is the neuralizer from Men in Black. None of you are going to remember anything by the end of the night.
Yes.
Lasers. We're going to be working with lasers tonight, and yes, they're going to actually work with conjunction with the full spectrum camera instead of just using a regular digital camera. So why do we use lasers on a ghost hunt? You can see the pen, you can see the dots on the ground, but you can't see the actual lasers until something passes through it. So we're literally looking for movement through these lasers. So we keep these on the ground, Miss Meredith. They're going to stay right in front of you. So demo on the next one because you're going to get both. We use red squares as well. In the event we actually capture something with this guy on the video, I can freeze frame it and then take that still from the video and put it in 3D software and give you a full 3D view of what we caught along with measurements. Pretty crazy stuff. Do not cross the streams, you'll get yourself dizzy. Bad Ghostbuster joke, but it does work here. You're going to make spectrums this way. So again, you don't have to arms stretched out. Just keep them out in front of you, nice and comfortable. The green one, you hold the dot to keep it on. This one is on a toggle switch. No pressure, but these will get Nick arrested if they're pointed in the wrong direction, and they will set off car alarms, so have fun.
Oh, yeah. That's perfect.
Let's go through spirit boxes. We're going to be using several different types of spirit boxes tonight. Penny's like, what the hell did I sign up for?
No, I know what I signed up for. I've done this before, too.
So, what pieces have you used?
It's been a while, so I know I did like the temperature thing.
Okay.
We had some of those. We had some like EVPs, some to record sound.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this one in particular is going to sweep through FM radio stations at a pretty quick rate. So it's just like the white noise you guys see on TV, only mine are slowed down on purpose. I want the radio chatter to come through. You guys aren't used to listening to just white noise, and between that and nothing but history all night, somebody's going to fall asleep. So, with that said, the radio chatter, the song lyrics, the DJs, the commercials, when it comes through, it's a 50-50 shot that I can tie it to the location of where we are, a person in history I'm talking about, or even something going on with one of us. It happens all the time. So I will give earbuds out for the 2 of these styles that I do have. So that way you guys can just keep the earbud in for yourself. I do not want the earbuds back. I buy them in bulk, no worries. So that way we're not, because there's going to be a lot of different types of spirit boxes running. So, Laura, you seemed pretty stoked about this.
Yeah.
I was hoping it was like something you open.
Auto.
She wants a spirit box that opens up. Did you catch that?
Ghostbusters wants me to.
That's Pandora's box. Not Spirit box.
You are the chatter box. That's why you're getting this. So, you have a volume button at the top. It's a wheel. Okay, so you're going to control the volume, but I'm going to give you earbuds here in just a minute. Let me get the other one going.
I don't have to tune it to a certain
Nope,
station.
it sweeps it for you. All right, so Penny, you're going to get this other one. The cool thing about...
Yeah.
So, my show. Chatterbox. The reason why I'm giving out 2 of these is the one I'm going to give to Penny is going to record the entire session for us. So whatever Penny hears, great. Whatever she misses, we'll catch in the morning when we kind of spot check through this on my analysis. But the rest of you are going to have a full recording of this. So even when you turn it down on mute, it's still going to record, and even without any background noise. I love this thing. So when I'm doing my own investigations and I'm running a handful of equipment, I turn on one of these, put it on record, and toss it in my pocket, and I listen to it later. So it's just a matter of, like, what is it actually catching? So again, same thing with you. There's a wheel at the top that's going to control the volume. I'm going to give you guys some earbuds.
Okay.
These are brand new, never been touched by me.
Oh my gosh, it says ghost scanner.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's meant to do. Take a pack of earbuds. You're welcome. Take a pack of earbuds.
Thank you.
So funny. You guys see why I'm handing out the devices the way I'm handing them out? Okay. Alright. So these, you're also going to have a spirit box.
Okay.
Yours is open air. I'm giving you this one on purpose because it's open. His device actually captures audio at the same time, so that way we might be able to capture what you're hearing on the video. So yours is open air, so you have a little button right here on the right hand side. You hold it up gently to get the volume out of it, and then obviously you're going to hold it down gently to turn it down when I'm talking to the whole group. Yours is going to be the only one that all of us will be able to hear. So yeah, just kind of get used to where that button is for a minute. Did you find the earphone jack? Should be on the right hand side. Did you find it on yours? Okay. Alright, so this last spirit box we're going to be using, this is a phone app. This is the one I was explaining to you earlier. So it's going to give us a word from time to time in the center of the screen. There's over 9,000 terms in the dictionary of this spirit box. So what's going to happen with this guy is it's going to save all of those words to a list. So 80% of what comes out of this thing, it's absolute BS. It doesn't mean anything. It's meant to be a game and a hoax. It's the other 5 to 20% that I'll put in bold for you guys on your list, tell you why it's relevant, and then give you the backlink of where I got the info. So again, 5 to 20% is about the average. So do I get more than that at times? Sometimes. Kelly, was it?
I don't hear it though.
Look at me remembering names tonight. I'm on it. All right.
Sounds like I
It does.
So at times when I say, I'm going to come to you when I want to see the list. That way you don't have to shout out every single word. I'm going to say where we at. You're going to hit the little white scroll next to it, and you'll be able to scroll through the list when it shows up. The only other button you need is right there. If you do, like right now, we should have foot that showed up. Yep. It gives me timestamps, so that way I know when to listen and watch the other devices. So
So this
You
little wheel just goes up and down?
that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, you just kind of hold it gently. You got to kind of give it a second.
Okay.
Right now you're holding it.
I'm holding it in.
No, you don't want to hold it in. You want to
Okay.
hold it up. Like it's a nice gentle push up. You want to hold it. It's not a wheel.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I see. Okay.
Keep playing with it. We got some more devices to go through. Bryn,
Yes.
we're on to you.
Great.
See how to bring her back in?
Yeah, she's the first one.
I used to manage over 400 employees, so you can see
That's a
like,
skill. Wow.
like you can see where I'm like, all right, one meeting, let's go, guys.
Give you 400 names.
No, not right now. All right, Brandon, you're my multitasker.
Great.
So this device is called a meter. It's going to do a couple of things for us. We talked about a K2 meter that you had earlier. This one's way more accurate. K2 and an EMF is actually going to measure electromagnetic fields. Anything above 2.5, I want to know what's going on with it. So a 2.5 is the second dot indicating any kind of indication on a K2 meter. I usually have one of those out in the open field too, but we don't have our full party of 10. So again, 2.5 on your big number. In the event Brian finds something on his camera, you and I can debunk it. There's a brand new probe. I just put it on before I left the house. The other one broke. It's going to measure ambient temperature. So we'll be able to debunk or prove what's going on with his camera in the moment, which is super nice. Lastly,
Yes.
this is the cool part.
Okay.
This is a REM pod built into this device. In the event something actually gets near this antenna, it's going to go a little haywire because I just turned it on and we are near electrical wires. But the gist is if something gets close, it's going to make it go off. So the closer it gets, the higher it's going to go. You can see I'm touching it. So again, we don't leave it on all the time because it can be very distracting when I'm trying to give you a lot of history. So we're going to leave the antenna pushed in, and I'll show you more about that at the first location.
Okay, great.
Just leave the little flap open in the back.
So do I have this in all the time?
It's your tour, you do what you want.
Oh. I didn't know if we like wait for certain places.
You can listen to it all night long with one in and still get the history. People do that often. I just started this earbud thing like 2 weeks ago. It seems to be working out really well. But that's usually the consensus of what people do. All right, everybody's got something in their hands, correct? Did you figure yours out, Denise?
Yeah, I hear it like making static noise. Is that okay? Okay.
So again, you're going to be listening for those song lyrics to DJs in the commercials. So whatever you can make out is what we're after. So now that everybody's got stuff in their hands, Josh is like, man, I wanted this camera. Now that he sees everything else. Josh has already talked to me about he has a little bit of experience doing this. So I wanted to give him something a little bit newer and fresher, and that is a brand new device. Yeah, most people haven't. So let's talk about why we're here. Of course, the place is haunted. Big John's, the place I told you guys to meet me at, right? So this place actually just reopened as Big John's. They renamed it Big John's after the big legacy of the bar of Big John's back in the 40s and 50s. This place was named after a football player. We already got the word foot. Am I counting that yet? Not yet. I want to see what else comes up on the recordings and whatnot. Football player for the 1947 New York Giants. Now, this was his bar, and he sat in the back of it, and he would tell the bartender if the cadets coming over from the Citadel, if they were old enough to drink or not. One night, two guys come in, they're not old enough to drink. He has the bartender throw them out. So they leave, pretty pissed off. They come back the next night, and they try to steal the cash register from the front of the bar. John gets up, pretty angry, starts beating the heck out of these guys, because he recognized them from the night before. Gunshots go off. John gets hit in the neck, and the bullet lands in the wall. He gets up, he goes back to the bar, he tells the bartender to get him another beer, get the two guys on the floor he just beat up, an ambulance. So, first thing is, nobody died in that story. Second thing is, John's the only one that got shot, and he's the only one that got up. What's haunting the place is the bullet hole. It's allegedly still here. Now, people that sit in the front of this bar tend to get a little queasy, nauseous, headache. It's from the paranormal activity that can occur in this building. It's also, from time to time, is the only spot in the whole place that I will get any kind of EMF reading from what Bryn is using.
I was just in there and that happened when I was sitting there.
Where were you sitting?
Right in the very first halo.
And what happened?
I felt...
She felt
I said
queasy.
to him,
She
I
said
don't
it's
feel
almost
well.
like a panic attack.
I said, I don't feel well. I feel
Point
like
proven.
it was strange.
You should have. So, I bring this up on purpose because it is a heated warning. You guys are going to be dealing with paranormal activity tonight, fingers crossed. That's why you're all here. If anybody feels any of those things while we're on our tour, I need to know immediately. I will say that it's not that people haven't passed out on this tour. It's happened. And I'll tell you a story at our last location. Somebody remind me because I forgot last night. This one was just a few weeks ago. And it is, how do I put this? It's important to the tour, like to that particular story, the last place that we go. So it's very eerie and kind of creepy. So we'll talk about that once we get there. But let's not talk about our own health, because Kelly looks a little worried. So, now, with that said, if you've taken any kind of history tour in Charleston, you know we had a big earthquake here in 1886. We all talk about the big earthquake, because it's an anomaly for Charleston, because this is the East Coast, we don't get earthquakes. This building is allegedly where the first death occurred from that earthquake. The mantle that you see in the middle of the building also goes around to the front. A piece of that broke off from the earthquake, struck somebody in the back of the head, and they say you could see his ghost in the middle of East Bay Street. Notice there's a lot of apparently and allegedly a lot with that story. I don't have any proof. It's just a great segue so Kelly's not worried all night about getting sick on the tour. So, are you guys ready to go ghost hunting?
Yes.
All right. Penny's like, are you done yet? So we're going to go this way.
That was weird.
Very weird. Very coincidental.
All right, show of hands. Who's jealous of what I do for a living? And yes, I had a real job once upon a time. So, we're actually working for a corporation. All right, so welcome to the Big Red Barn Lot. Interesting thing about some of the places we're going to go to tonight, we are not always going to be hitting your touristy trap type places where this building used to be this. This is the history of this building and this person was here. A lot of these spaces might be where something used to be. So this kind of happens to be kind of a little segue. This is kind of a practice area for everybody to get used to their devices. So the Big Red Barn Lot has a one-line history. First off, you guys can probably smell ponies. It might be a little chilly for that. I can't normally smell them because I'm out here 6 nights a week.
Here. I ride horses there.
Okay. So this is where we keep the horses for your carriage rides. Okay, so Denise, you're the only one with with an open air spirit box, so they don't like the white noise. So if you're going to get close to them, just kind of keep it audible to you. But the history here is really simple. This is the same red barn where we held horses that delivered milk and eggs to the residents of Charleston. Very simple. Let's talk about spirit boxes because we have 4 in play tonight. Spirit boxes. This is not television, folks. This is not. Is somebody here? Because if somebody answers no, somebody's here. So we're going to stay away from yes and no questions all night long. I will always give you kind of impromptu questions. You can go rogue with whatever you want to as long as I can prove it. Now, if you get a direct answer, that's a whole different ballgame. With this specific location, again, we're not going to stay here long. I'm literally going to bounce around with every one of you to kind of show you more tactics on your devices. But spirit boxes, you're going to spread out first with questions like, if somebody's here, tell me what color the Big Red Barn is. Now, keep in mind, most of you have spirit boxes that are using DJs and song lyrics to convey messages back to us. The word red might not be in the vocabulary for that specific answer. Fire truck, blood, heart, all 3 of those things are specifically red. Those would be acceptable answers. Most of the night, I'm going to require some kind of verification of what's actually happening. We already have the word foot, as I was talking about a football player. Is that something? Possibly, but I'm going to look at it as I need at least ball, player, 47, because that's the year he played in. I'm going to need some other clue to kind of verify that. So with Big John's teammates, they love to come through. Let's say you get the word Art, and you hear the number 40. Art Faircloth was number 40 on Big John's team. Those are the kinds of things that I'm looking for all night long. If we hear a name, I'm still going to be looking for in the morning going through the Spirit Box recording that you have. So again, I'm always looking for that double clue. A lot of the stories we're going to have tonight have multiple people with the same names. We're talking about 200-300 years ago. Feeling right now, that's the first drop I felt. So lots of Charleses, lots of Georges, lots of Elizas, those kind of stories. So again, that's why I always look for those double clues, and I'll kind of point them out as we move along. You don't always have to keep those on, by the way. And he's not recording yet anyway. So I'm going to kind of get into that. Spirit boxes, that's the kind of mentality I want you to get used to listening to your devices as I kind of work with the camera folks first, and then I'm going to jump into the millimeter. So Bryn, I'll be looking for you next. So cameras, and Meredith, you can definitely stay with me so I can show you more. Again, keep an eye, I'm going to check the rain. Does anybody use AccuWeather by any chance? Somebody want to check the weather for us to make sure we're not going to get a downpour on, because this is one of the few shelters we could take advantage of. So if not, I can take a look at it real quick just to be sure. I got a new phone and I have no idea how to work it yet. Oh, it already popped up. Look at that. My wife did a great job hooking it up for me. So, looks like it's going to start drizzling here in about 15 minutes, probably for about 15 minutes. So, again, we'll kind of see how this is going to go. But it doesn't look like we're going to get dumped on, which is good. So drizzles are okay. If it starts downpouring, if you have pockets, I appreciate you tucking things in jackets and all that kind of mess to keep things until we can get us to the shelter. All right, spirit boxes, turn them up, get used to listening to them. Cameras, come this way. Everybody else, let's spread out. All right, so we're gonna start with yours so we can get you recording. First off, this is your record button. So go ahead and tap that guy. And what I'm looking for, and I don't always pull out the lasers, but the lasers are much easier to see on full spectrum lighting. As I'm sure you've already noticed. They're pretty nice and prominent. You can see they're nice and clear. The digital camera, they're dark pictures because you can't use a flash. With those kind of mentality. So I was constantly lightening things up. This is actually saving me a lot of work when I'm going through your data. So I've kind of combined this piece.
Okay.
So whenever she has those out, you should definitely be recording.
All right.
And again, we're going to have to splice them together. At 9 minutes and 26 seconds, that's the largest file that the camera will make. It's 4 gigabytes. You'll see a little flicker on your screen. It's nothing paranormal. It'll just turn over.
Yeah.
So just kind of get used to where they're at 9 minutes and 26 seconds is. As far as the rest of what I'm looking for outside of your lasers, anything in the dark. This is working long range, this is working short range. If you're in a group of people and notice how my hand will kind of leak things out, you can shut the short range off.
Oh, okay.
So there's a little red button at the top there. We will have to change out your battery at least once tonight. It's usually at the last stop right before we get started with the story. So there's a good 30 minutes that we're going to spend there, so we definitely want to get you a fresh battery. There is over 4 hours on that new SD card. Before, I was kind of savoring it because it was only an hour and a half. So it's literally tripled by the new SD card I put in there. So record as much as you want if you don't mind. But again, try to get as much footage as you possibly can. Again, you're already on point with the lasers. Just try not to go too far, and the red one people forget is on. So again, vehicles, it will make the car alarms go off. I've seen it. I've done it twice now in 2 years. I don't like to run with 8 other people. It's never fun. I'm going to get left behind. But again, people get a little funny. Both cameras, just so you guys know, about people with us filming cars. So if somebody's going to their vehicle, you're just going to go the opposite way. They don't know what we're doing. So they're going to think, look at us as thieves. However, Brian's camera, if I was a car thief, this would be the ultimate tool. Because he can see how long every car's been here based on the heat signature of the car. So again, we would be great car thieves with this thing. All right, so you guys feel free to explore. Again, watch the vehicles and get used to the different types of material.
Question.
Yes.
There's the time tick on there.
So you're not recording.
Okay, gotcha.
You want to hit that. It'll be flashing.
Oh, okay,
It'll
gotcha.
flash.
All right.
You got it. So yeah, record for a little bit, get used to what the lasers are. And it doesn't record great sound because it isn't a waterproof platform.
That one right there, turn off the short range, right?
Got it. Okay. Leave this side on the race
My tongue come out really red.
Yeah. 104 degrees.
104?
Yeah, your skin temperature's like 80.
So Brian, let's point your camera directly at the wall. So it bled out to red.
Right.
Keep it there. Watch the wall. Should it turn to blue?
Right.
That's the reason why I want to keep a good skin temperature in there at all times. So that way there's always a variance in temperature so we can actually see, you know, when the blue spots are moving on their own. It's much easier to see when there's a big array. Like I said, I caught like a 65-degree difference last night just because someone was in view. It was really, really nice. It was a perfect catch. But again, just try to keep, nice slow movements out of that. The slower you are, the better off you're going to be. And again, try to stick close to Denise. I'm sure you guys are going to stick close anyway, so that way, hopefully, your audio will pick up on whatever her device is doing. So if she can't hear anything, we'll listen to it in the morning. Kind of see what else we caught. Bryn, you're next. So, your device. Get used to how this guy moves?
Uh-huh.
All right, so we're going to shut off the temperature because that's kind of an in-the-moment thing. What's going to happen now is these numbers are going to move a lot faster. Your battery just went to this.
Okay.
So, as my wife let me know, she got home okay.
Great.
All right, pull up your antenna. On the back where I left the flap open, there's 2 little white buttons. The one closer to the edge is the one that you want. So click it all the way into place. It's going to be bright. Sorry, I should have warned you.
That's right.
You got to click it till you'll feel it go flush. Perfect. You're there. Oh.
No. Okay.
All right. So what's going to happen now is that with your movements, it will go off. You want to make sure it's not from your movements for us to be able to count it as paranormal. On the right-hand side, there's 4 buttons down on the spine. The very bottom one will reset the field so it's not affected by your movements. You want to constantly be clicking that button whenever you see something. If it continues to do the exact same thing, then it's a good possibility that it's not from your movements.
Okay.
So that's kind of the mentality. I can already see that your battery's dying, so once we get to the next stop, you and I will swap a battery so you have a nice fresh one. I carry tons of batteries. My bag is still heavy.
Perfect.
Are you hearing anything out of yours yet?
Green.
Green?
Yeah, I can't hear a lot. Or like it's going so fast, but I heard green. Anything?
There might have been a green player on the team. Last name Green.
Oh,
Do you
okay.
see where I'm going with that?
Yeah.
So again, I can't prove it yet because I don't have the football stats memorized, but it's
Oh,
something
right,
I can
right,
definitely
right.
dive into.
Okay.
And I will be taking notes based off of all the readings that you have and anything you guys hear throughout the night. Penny, are you hearing anything on yours?
Not really.
No? Okay. Kelly, what do you got on your list? Anything crazy yet?
Lust.
Lust?
Lust. Army. What else?
Victim.
Oh gosh, fraction, victim, mouth.
Keep in mind, that thing is meant to try to scare people.
Yeah. God, was that grandfather? I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah.
So it sounds like a bunch of 80% nothing to me,
Yeah.
is what it sounds
I
like.
Yeah.
thought lust and victim were pretty good.
I like it.
I don't
We
have
got
the time.
Ashley, but
It's a
is
great story.
Charleston.
I just don't know what it is.
Yeah.
All
We got
right.
researcher, dig.
Oh, we have dig already?
Yeah.
Okay. That's actually relevant to the next story. So
Okay.
again, I will pick up terms as close as we are to the next stop here. So as we're kind of moving along, I'll kind of see like there's already very specific terms that go to that. Dig, believe it or not, is actually specific to the location. You'll see once we get there. All right.
And where are these words coming from again?
So the
Does
app
that-
is going to automatically generate at random. The game we're playing with the words is it coming from the app, or is it specific enough for us to be able to claim that it's coming from a ghost?
Okay.
So if she has a term and there's another term that's nearby from another spirit box that match up, so if we're talking about, and let's say you heard the word big and you have John at the same time, I just heard big, I have John on my list. So again, you see how it's almost in conjunction.
Okay.
So could you call this coincidence if you only do this once a year? Probably, but at the same time, I'm out here 6 nights a week doing the exact same thing every single night, and I'm putting all the pieces together the next morning. I go to mainly the same places every single night, and I don't hide anything. If you want, I leave everybody's data up there for a whole year. So if you want to go back and see what happened on your birthday, last Halloween, whatever the case might be, do so. It's up there. I don't hide anything. So again, all the evidence is always there. So that way it's not a, oh, well, he's making stuff go off. He made this up. You know, there's no way to prove it or disprove it. That way you can see every single night it's something different. And there's usually a different theme every night. That's the fun thing about this, is you never know what you're going to get. I say we can learn some real history. Here we go.
Oh, not there's something
Throws
that
up already?
froze, yeah.
All right, we're going to have to do a battery pop.
Okay.
So I'm going to pop this from you real quick, and
Gotcha.
I'll pop it as we're walking. So that way we can stop. Lean to your left.
Yeah.
Other left.
Alright.
Just so I can pop it. All right, let's go learn some history, guys. I will tell you when I turn that thing on. It's usually when I'm talking and going through the whole story. It's sad if I have to send this all the way back to all of that. Because they are super It's a little probe, a little yellow probe on Bryn's device. It took me 2 weeks to get. They're in Florida. I should have had it in 2 days.
You could drive down there. Yeah.
Right. Pull everybody in pretty close. This is the only entrance and exit to this particular space. So I don't want anybody becoming a ghost tonight. That would not be good the night before Halloween.
Yeah.
Freezing up again?
Yeah.
You keep breaking my stuff, dude. Okay.